So what is non-duality? Non-duality is the most beautiful subject that you'll ever hear, and it's basically pointing to a freedom that's beyond any worldly forms. It's beyond who you think you are, your body, your actions, your past, your lifestyle, your good actions or bad actions. It's not about being a good person. And it's basically talking about a freedom that is beyond you. It's beyond anything in this world. But it's also it is talking about everything, being everything in this world. So it's a freedom of this world, but then it's also an intimacy of this world as well. It's both. And it is the end of suffering. It's not the end of pain and pleasure, and it's not an order of a perfect life. I will always have money, and I will always have young looks, and I will always be respected, or I will never feel shy again, or never feel embarrassed. It's not an avoidance of being human, but it's the end of the attachment to all of those feelings and the energy that's trying to avoid them. So in a way, it's the end of running away from being alive. But it's not getting out of being alive. It's not getting out of the human manifestation of it. Often when people come into non-duality, and because of the way that other non-dual speakers speak, and I'm not criticizing them, it's really valid what they're doing, and it's really important what they're doing, but often people just don't want to deal with their feelings or their life anymore, and so they go into non-duality thinking that they can go into non-duality and escape their job problems, their relationship problems, their money problems. But it's actually, non-duality is going to point you back to what's actually happening. And so it's going to always point you back to this. And in this, there might have to be dealing with quite uncomfortable feelings. So the feeling of not fitting in at work, or the feeling of lack of money, or the feeling of feeling unloved by your partner almost has to be dealt with, because that's what's appearing now. If you're feeling tightly contracted because of an argument with your partner, that's what's happening. There's no escape from it. And the freedom is here. We often think that we can go behind the human experience, but it's actually in the human experience. It's in everything that's happening. It's in every feeling, every sensation, everything that appears. That's where love is. So it's now, if you put your hands on your computer and you feel that warmth, that's where it is. That's where God is. If you feel your body and you feel intense fear, that's where God is. We try to get away from the fear and think that's what will bring us freedom. But it's never in escaping what's happening. It's in the absolute intimacy of what's happening. And none of the concepts that I present or any other non-duality teacher presents is the truth. Because in this moment, in what's happening, in this, concepts are irrelevant. Whether you're a doer or not a doer, whether you're a self or not a self, whether you are happy or sad, it's irrelevant here. In this, in the instant of this, all of that explodes. And that's seen to be a world that is only practical for survival, and it's not actually describing your experience. It's not actually describing what's happening. It's an ability for the humans have formed in order to survive better. So it's certainly, thinking cannot talk about the nature of reality. And this is really pointing back to the nature of reality. And the nature of reality and the answers to why you're alive can only be found in what's happening. And that's what's always happening. Not in some stupid intellectual idea. It's always in what's happening. The answer to why you're alive is in being alive. Of course, that's where it is. The answer to why you're alive is in being alive, not in understanding it intellectually. Our language is based on opposites. I know that I am a tall person because of short people. I know that I'm a thin person because of fat people. I know that I'm a clever person because of stupid people. I know I'm a white person because of black people. It's always in comparison. I couldn't be white if there wasn't other colours. I couldn't be intelligent if there wasn't other levels of intelligence. I couldn't be tall if there weren't short. Our language is based on comparison. So therefore it's not a fixed thing and it's not true. Are you happy? In comparison to what? But we base our reality in thinking. We base our happiness, we base our joy, we base our decisions in thinking. Where it's all happening spontaneously now. The body instantly knows, life instantly knows what direction it wants to go in. Right here. This is love. This amness, this presence is love. It's empty, it holds on to nothing and is no one. And yet it's full of absolute love, and that love is everything. Oh, it's so exciting. I love this subject. And now people call and they're like, yeah, I want to die. I hate my life. It's so funny. But this is so beautiful. And even if you want to call and you want to say those things, I will keep pointing you back to home. And I'm not saying that you don't need to express it. When you call me, you have to be 100% who you are in that moment. And if that is a really depressed person, then please give it to me fully. That was a really bad sentence. Give it to me fully. Give it to me, baby. And we can work through it. If you're trying to pretend to not be depressed or to not be sad or to not be angry, then it just makes it more work for me. Because obviously I can feel that. Give it to me.